Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's ready to get started today. You should have, last time, taken your quiz that closed out our Week 5 weekly reader. And so what we're going to do, if you have a copy of Week 6, the blue, we're going to get started on that one today. And we're going to go a tad bit out of order I think it's just a little bit easier this way, okay? So the first article, as you can see, is going to be about the Declaration of Independence, but we're going to skip that and get to that here in a little bit, okay? We'll get to that later this week. But the article that we're going to focus on today is this one in the middle where it says the Revolutionary War. We're going to jump right on into the war, and today we're going to compare the British Army versus the Continental Army. So when you get to this article right here, okay, you're going to see a subtitle right here where it says the small versus the mighty, okay? And this article is going to tell you all about the British Army and the Continental Army. The Continental Army led by George Washington, which we remembered last time, okay? It's going to tell you advantages of both and disadvantages, the good things about them, the bad things about them, and all that kind of stuff for the war, okay? Like if you've ever seen a boxing match or a UFC match where right before the match, the commentators are always talking about, okay, this is what this guy does, this is what he's good at, this is what he's not good at, and the guy is going up against, this is what he's good at, this is what he's not good at, and then they talk about some things they might see happening. Same thing with this article. This article is going to tell you about the Continental Army and how they match up against the British Army and what possibly could happen, okay? Now, as you are reading, on the back of your weekly reader, there is a Venn diagram. We've been doing Venn diagrams a lot, but we're getting used to that, and that's a good thing because Venn diagrams show up on quizzes, show up on tests, all kinds of stuff, okay? And so what you're going to do on this Venn diagram, you're going to compare. You're going to write down about 4 or 5 things about the Continental Army, 4 or 5 things about the British Army, and then, of course, a few things on how they are the same. Now, if you don't have a weekly reader, that is perfectly okay. Let's just go over here to the computer and I'll show you what exactly you need to do. All right, so here is the article that you're going to read right here. Okay, once again, the Revolutionary War. It's the small versus the mighty. And it does look like it's a little long. It's maybe a little bit longer than what we normally read. So you're going to stop right here at the Battle of Saratoga. But right here, small versus the mighty. You can, once again, like I've showed you before, you can highlight all of this and have the computer read it to you. See, it's thinking right here. And it's still thinking. Ooh, computer's going slow today. There you go. And you can just hit the play button and it'll play all of that, okay? Now, if you look right here, first part is going to tell you a little bit about both, but then right here, the British Army. So this first paragraph right here, where it talks about the British Army, obviously it's going to give you some interesting things about that, okay? And then over here, the next one, the Continental Army. So you're going to have some interesting, I'm going to make them blue, since the Continental Army wore blue. The British Army, even though they wore, well, red or pink, whatever. All right, so anyway, so it's going to tell you a little bit about that. And so you're going to find some things that are different and similar. Now, for those of you who are online, this is the chart. It's in your Google Classroom. And I've already done all of this for you. So it's the same thing as the back of the weekly reader. You're going to find 4 things about the Continental Army, 4 things about the British Army, and then, of course, some things about how they are the same. All right. Now, if you find more than 4, that's fine. You can keep adding on. Okay. Now, if you're typing in, since this is a little bit of a circle here, I had to finagle and mess with the numbers a little bit. So if you're typing in and all of a sudden, okay, I'm just doing this, okay? So hopefully it doesn't mess up. But if you notice how my numbers are a little bit off, that's okay. If you need to mess with it and stuff, you just go right on ahead and do what you need to do. If you need to hit the space bar and all that kind of stuff. And see how my numbers already kind of got messed up a little bit there. All right. So anyway, play around with it a little bit. If it's not working for you, that's okay. Just type it in there. I'll mess with it if I can't see it or read it. Okay. But anyway, so that's the assignment right there. The Continental Army versus the British Army for the chart. And that's what you're going to do there. All right, so that's all you've got to do, okay? Read the article, just the part where it says the small versus the mighty for the Revolutionary War, and then start working on that chart, okay? And it's comparing the British Army versus the Continental Army. And that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.